Okay, so we're talking about a vital role that is played here because the boys that come from overseas, they, some of them come with with some really we'll say exaggerated ideas of what it means to go to the IDF. They see the guy in the uniform holding the gun. It looks so exciting and like, look at me, but that's not what it's all about. We're talking about real service. This is not self-service where you go to something and it's like, look at me. This is where you're coming to serve your nation. And service doesn't necessarily mean fun or exciting. You could be in a place where, number one, you have people you absolutely disrespect, and then you have to listen to them. They're your commanding officers. You could be in a situation where you're bored out of your brains because you're told to guard a sack of potatoes. You could be put under some severe pressure where you're wondering, what am I doing here? Why did I do this? And you can't get out. So we teach the why. So when you're over there and you're guarding, let's say, the sack of potatoes, for 3 weeks, you understand you're there. Those potatoes have a purpose. You don't maybe not understand what those purpose, but whatever you're doing, you understand you're serving your nation, whatever you're doing, and you'll do the best you can wherever you find yourself at. The other issue is the IDF is a notorious place for religious young men and women to go off the derech, which is an incredible, it's a disaster. So this, to be in the army, it's very well. Yes, they make provisions for religious observance and all that other stuff, but it's hard. It's not simple, and you have people that are completely against you, and do not like the religious, and they don't, they're afraid of the whole religious idea. So we send our guys in rather to be influenced to influence, not in a way they're trying to do kiruv or anything. It's just by being an example of a person who stands on their principles, and regardless of what the situation is, they're standing. Now, not all guys can manage that, and they go off the derech, real fast. And so we have a big struggle and a big job over here. We're starting to think about, could we come up with a lone soldier home? What can we do to mitchazek otam, them in the inside the army, while we are with them throughout the army and after the army. The head of the program, he marries a lot of the guys off. We stay with the relationship, whether they're on the derech, off the derech, they stay connected to us. But while these boys are here, remember, their goal isn't to be this Talmid Chacham. Just like when you go to a regular gap year program, their idea is to make you an independent Torah learner, and our program is about, instead of over there in those American programs where it's how many pages you can turn and you can turn independently, instead of you turning the pages, we're trying to get the pages to turn to you. And
Very
that
good.
is,
What made you start this? Who started it, when, and why?
okay, so the Mechina movement was started about 30 something years ago. This was actually, the Mechinot is the first Geula type of yeshiva movement, because we are not a religion, we are a nation. And originally, in our original form, the Jewish nation, we're not religion. I know that we became, like my brother said, God created man and man created religion. We've been in trouble ever since. So this is what happened to us on the road. We picked up a religion, but we are not a religion. We are a nation. We're a family. We're called B'nai Yisrael. We're from, this family. So the thing is in our original state of nationhood, most Jews were not sitting in a yeshiva all day long. This is a relatively new thing, to go to the yeshiva and don't participate and talking about Torah, which is wonderful and great, but that's not who we are. The Torah is not about sitting in a yeshiva all day. It's like reading the instructions all day long, right? This is about going out and doing, most of the mitzvot are about business and the Beit HaMikdash and living a society, a societal type of a national identity. So what happened was, 2,000 years ago, when Hashem kicked us out, so what happened? The spiritual, the physical side of our nature, that's what was killed. The land was killed. The physical side of our nation was killed. All we had was the spiritual side. That's all we had left. There is actually a shita about that when we're davening for the, Mechayim 18, the resurrection of the dead, it's talking about Eretz Yisrael and the physical side of our nation, which has now been reborn. There needed to be some kind of a establishment, an organization, a yeshiva that brought us back to our original state. And that is the Mechina. The Mechina and the Hester type of, Torah learning institution, yeshivot, are all about national identity and understanding the Torah that's our constitution, that's our law book, that's our nation right there. So you need to learn how to operate within the nation as a working person who is a Jew living in the land of Israel, living under God and the Torah. That's what we do. So we help the boys to understand that. They understand the why. They get the national identity. They're going to serve Chas v'shalom with, their life. That should not happen to them. We've got a wall. I can take a picture of it that I don't want to ever see any more boys on that wall. You know what that wall is about, right? Boys who gave their life for the nation, and these are Mechina boys. So,
You have a success story that keeps you going, that drives you, that you have front of mind. I've seen guys come in X, Y, and Z, or maybe a little bit of the sad story versus the good story.
No, the thing that drives me is that first of all, what happened, how I got started with it is that there's a program. They originally wanted to do the gap year type of a program about 12, 13 years ago. It failed miserably. And so I happened to make Aliyah. I moved into this little village here, and I didn't have a job, but they were kind enough to give me an office in their space, and I was listening to what was going on. I said, hey, I'll tell you what, I can do this for you, and let's turn this thing around. I'll do it for you. And I made a deal with them too. I said, because I never want to leave Eretz Yisrael. It's too painful for me. I said, I will not leave Israel. I will not travel to control. I can do it all online. This was already back before this was all popular. All it was the American telephone, a little bit with the internet. I said, I can make it happen. And they believed in what I said. And they said to me, and I was working with this one Rabbi Michal Cohen, and he believed it. And he says, look, the manager said, I'll give you 1 year to prove you can do this. I filled the program up in less than a year. And it's been going ever since. So, and I didn't even have to travel. So with Hashem's help, that's what happened here. I'm still there. I still do the recruiting and I work with the boys, and now we only take 20 boys. Now we're full, and now because of Corona, so we're having a difficult time trying to find boys. Baruch Hashem, we're halfway full. We're not, and we're ahead of schedule, but we still need to get out there. We need to still help, find more, or help boys find us so they can make sure they don't find themselves in a situation where it is a disaster for them. We need to get a hold of them so they come to the Mechina and they can get trained properly. And by the time they get to the IDF, they're ready. They're IDF ready. They're Israeli as Israeli can be. In fact, not only that, but some of the boys, they can even do better than their native Israeli brothers. They come with no Hebrew. In fact, we just had one boy who got awarded the best soldier out of 400 Israeli soldiers. And he didn't speak Hebrew when he first began. So this is the kind of guys.
Part of your program is teaching Hebrew?
Oh yeah, no, the boys come without, it's teaching them Hebrew. It is to get them used to the Israeli mentality, because what we do is it's an integration program. It's an Israeli Mechina, and we separate the boys and put them all out into different rooms. And then so with Israelis, and the Israelis, it's like, in the beginning, they try to speak English to our guys, because it's fun. But after a couple of days, they get tired of that toy. And then our boys are left on their own to have to start to speak Hebrew. And within our program, they start to speak Hebrew. By the end of the program, if they're not, on their way to fluency, they have a very solid foundation. By the time they get to the Army, they already have a network of Israeli friends and family. They, already know the whole routine, the Israeli slang and all they have that down. But then they have a solid foundation with the language. They know everything about the Army, what to expect. We put them through we have a thing called Survival Week. So they go through that. They can handle anything, right? It's insane what we put them through, right? So we don't talk about what we do there. It's a secret, what we do. But I can tell you that we had one boy write back to us one time. He was in the Army. He says, I just did the IDF survival camp. He says, what a joke. He says, after I went to the Keshet one, he said, that was a walk in the park, man. I saw everyone else was suffering, Right now I'm over there going, yeah, this is a cruise, man. Guys, I'm on vacation. Like, are you insane? So you've never been to the Keshet, survival camp, survival weeks. You have no idea, what a vacation this is. And it's like vacation. So, so so we really, we give them, things are called gibushim, which are mental and physical challenges. So we help them, to be able to learn about themselves, to learn about their friends, to, understand, the most important thing of the why. It's not just why am I serving the IDF, it's why am I putting tefillin? Why, and what happens is they were so used to the regular yeshiva, old galut, Golas type of yeshiva movement, where they're just shoving this down their throat, and forced into these, davening situations and learning situations, what they just did not like and did not appreciate, to finally they're at a place where it's saying, hey, let's talk about it. Hey, we're not forcing you to go daven. That's between you and God. We're going to encourage you. We're going to show you the why. You got to show up and put those tefillin on in the morning. That's up to you. We call them like adults with training wheels, right? We're trying to help them to grow in their own. We give them a lot of freedom. There's no forcing anybody to do anything, because the Mechina philosophy is, if you put force on somebody, the moment you remove the force, they're just going to go back to what they were doing. Rather, we want them to take it upon themselves, to own it for themselves, and that's exactly what they do.
You're fantastic, and you're a fantastic speaker.
Thank
you. That video that you just recorded is very valuable. You should be guests on radio shows. You should be out there talking. You talk very well. The only thing I'll tell you is, which I would, are you familiar with Rabbi Avigdor Miller, Zichrona Livracha?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so the shiur he gave yesterday, or what I listened to yesterday, I have the iPod. He's like my friend. I carry him around, all the time in my pocket, right? There's the rabbi. What Rabbi Miller said yesterday, it's strange when I say yesterday, but what he said yesterday was that not everybody's meant to be in yeshiva, and not everybody who's, a person really has to find their right place and so forth. So it's the same message to a great extent as you're giving. You need to do something or something?
No, it was too loud, so I had to reduce the sound. That was it.
So as you know, he's a tzaddik and he's all for learning, but at the same time, he's not bashing. You may not have meant to, but he's not bashing the yeshivas and the people who are sitting learning, and he never bashed the people who are not learning. He described that there are different kinds of people, and there's some guys absolutely have no place in the yeshiva, and they should be out and learning. If you have a good head for it, of course you should stay in it. It's done on an individual case. So if you were cutting up that video, if I was cutting up that video, I would be taking out a couple things where you were like bashing the Torah people, or it comes across that way. And just from a PR point of view, there's no reason to. You said, we were never meant to sit in the thing all day. We have a land, but you don't need to say it in a negative way. You need all you need to do is say something along the lines of, there are people, and they're absolutely needed, who learning in Torah, but it's not for everybody. And for the people it's not for, it's a detriment, Rabbi Miller is saying, for them. They're just draying around the yeshiva. They shouldn't be there. Not everybody's meant to be there, and vice versa. Hashem mamish creates everybody with a different cheshek, so 100%. The world could run. So just make sure when you present that, you present it only in the positive, and don't
100%.
give any idea that either side is at all wrong, and there's no sides here. I know you probably,
normally what I do when I do interviews,
I know you probably feel that way, but I'm just wanting to tell you how it came across.
No, when I'm speaking to, let's say, a group of people, regarding when I know who my audience is, then I say exactly that, what you said. I said, listen, not everyone, not like, for example, there are different uniforms that we wear. Some wear the black hat and they're in the yeshiva all day, and that's their army uniform, and they're serving in their way. And then some boys, they can't do that. That's not how they're able to serve. They need to put on a green uniform, but within that green uniform, we want those guys to be also with kippahs and seats along with the uniform. And one of the things I'd like to bring out is that there is an idea. It's just almost like you're better if you're sitting in a yeshiva all day, or you're better, being an army guy. There's no better. It just everyone has their service, and we need those people serving by learning and praying and doing that job to help the ones who are with the gun in the army and doing their job. It's a Yischar Zvulun type of a arrangement here, and it's all Am Yisrael. We're all one nation, one family, Nefesh Echad. That's it, and each one has our tasks to do, and that's an important task. Everyone, and don't tell, like the guy who can't learn Torah all day long in school, don't tell me he's not as good as the guy learning Torah all day long. Don't tell me that, right? He's just as good as any Jew, just as like this. Don't tell me the guy serving in the army just because he's serving the army is better than the guy sitting in the yeshiva. I don't want to hear it, right? In fact, I'll tell you what. When I first came to Israel, I was 17 years old. I was completely secular, and I didn't even know about Ashkenazim and Sephardim. Never even heard of it before, right? And I just, I grew up, and my parents taught me to love Jews, right? Because I asked them when I was a kid, how come some Jews, we see them, they don't drive on Shabbat, and we drive on Shabbat, and they eat kosher, we don't eat kosher. What's the difference? Are we different? And they said, no. It says we're all Jews. There's some drive on Shabbat, some don't, some eat kosher, but we're still Jews. You just got to love all Jews, right? So, oh, great. So I came to Israel. I was 17 years old. I was so happy, Jews, right? All these kinds of Jews, and I understood love all Jews. And this guy's telling me about this two groups of people that hate each other and they have problems, and these Ashkenazi and Sephardim. I'm like, wow, who are these people? What is their problem? It says, what do you mean, who are these people? You know who the Ashkenazi? No, I don't know. It says, well, you're an Ashkenazi. I said, whoa, huh? I'm Ashkenazi. So how do you know? I got a sign on my head or something? Ashkenazi? He said, well, kinda. I was like, what? He says, yeah. He says, yeah. I said, what do you think? So he tells me these are two Jews from here. My heart was broken. I cried. I said, please don't tell me that. I said, no, it can't be. He said, yeah, it is. I said, what's the difference? There's no Ashkenazi and Sephardim. So I decided that I gave myself, I'm Ashkefardic. I said, what are you? I'm Ashkefardic. I said, what do you mean Ashkefardic? I said, yeah, I'm Ashkenazi. So your parents are from over there? No, we're all from Israel. We just spread around over here. Whatever, like I used to have big long pants. So what are you, Breslev? I said, you need me to be Breslev? I'm Breslev, okay? I'm not going to Uman, but I'm Breslev, okay? Yeah, Chabad, yeah, but I won't believe the Rebbe's the Mashiach, but I'm Chabad. I said, whatever you need me to be, I'm in, right? As long as I don't have to go do this or that, I says, you just need me for the minyan, I'm in, right? Let's go, right? Right? So we're Am Yisrael. It doesn't matter. Jew, I pick up a guy on a hitchhike. He's telling me that he's against religion. He's doesn't do mitzvot. I says, what are you telling me again? Yeah, of course you do mitzvot. Oh, I don't do none of that. I said, wait a minute, man. Do you steal money from people? No. I said, you killing people out? You like killing people? No. Do you respect your parents? I do. I says, well, do you give stock? Of course. I said, what? I said, just because some dude got to keep Shabbat doesn't mean there's guys out there like that stealing people blind. I said, I'd rather hang out with you than him. He's like, really? I said, yeah. I said, hey, you know what this thing is? He says, what? It's a kippah. I said, nah, that's not what I call it. Said, what do you call it? I said, party hat. He goes, party hat? I said, yeah, man. I says, the Jews, man, we love partying, man. If you're not, in a party in the same week, I said, for sure you're going to be, the same day, you'll be one for sure in the same week. We got Shabbos. We got 3,000 years of holidays. I said, why do I want to be wasting my time looking for my party hat? I said, let's go, man. We love partying with Jews. We love partying with God. I said, that's it, man. I got my party hat. I'm ready to roll. He started laughing. He liked that. I said, hey, man. So I said, you got to go try to find one, right?
You definitely have a way with people. And I think it's fantastic that your parents taught you all about loving all Jews. That's not a small thing. That's really fantastic. Out of all the things we've spoken about in the last 20 minutes or so, you spoke about how important it is to love all Jews. You spoke so many things. Well, if the nature of communication and video, out of all the things we spoke about the organization, what do you think is the most important thing that people understand that you guys do?
Well, it depends on who you're talking to. So if you're speaking with the Israeli population, so they understand that we're a pre-military academy that's going to help their sons to get ready for the IDF. They may not, they're going from high school to the army. you're going from one place where you're being told what to do to an even more intense place. So the boy's going to need a little time to get ready for this and to have a little freedom for himself and to actually be able to do things for himself versus to have someone forcing him into do things, see what he can do. And I think that carries also through to our side as well. Our side's a little different because these guys are coming in. They don't have to go
I don't know what you mean by our side.
to the integration side. The boys that are coming from outside of Israel who want to go to the IDF. They have no obligation, but they have a calling to go there. So they're going to get that. They still also are going from high school to the Army, but they need extra help in terms of getting, making sure the decision's the right decision for them, because we're not the Army. So they get a clear understanding of what it is they're going to get themselves into before making a commitment like that. And also to be absolutely prepared and ready to go and have a good time at the same time. It's not all, learning and Army, type stuff. We have trips and we have fun and we have like all these fun, it's an amazing year for these boys. So it's probably the best time of their life. They're making new friends and for life, and they're transforming, basically going from boys to men. And that's the transition that happens in our place. So that's what we're doing. That's one thing that I do, but more in terms of like how that I can help what you're doing. That is in terms of that. A few things is that. When you make Aliyah, you got to really figure out how to make a living over here. It's not, I came at.
Let's just, we'll come back to that subject. I want to finish up on the school because I just got a couple more questions for you.
Go right in.
Money. A family's paying for this? Is this paid for by donors? What's the financials of this place?
Combination. So what happens is that the boys that come, our program cost is $21,000. However, we never have yet turned a boy away because of money. Money is always secondary. The primary goal is if the boy wants to come serve in the IDF, we first establish that it's a serious quest, that he's on, that this is what he wants to do. Once that's established, that the family is having financial problems, then we work it out. The boy is not left behind. If that boy wants to come and put his life on the line for Am Yisrael, well, we better make sure we're taking care of him. And thank God we do. And we have yet to have to turn a boy away. We have boys that came with absolutely nothing in their pocket. And we even put money in their pocket so they could feel like a mensch when they go out with their friends for pizzas. No one has to know anything, and the boy comes, and those boys really succeed. And they do very well. And they get on their own feet over here as well, and because they're coming to Israel to make a life. Some of them, some don't. Some come here and they go for the volunteer side. They go back to go to school. Some, do make Aliyah. There's all different kinds of. Some actually, it's very rare, but some guys actually find out, well, this is not what I want to do, and they just go back and they had a great year and made some great friends. So there's a lot of options for these boys to come. But as far as the money is concerned, we get donors that come to, to the aid when we don't.
Is there a way to get that dog to stop barking or close the door so we don't hear the dog?
Sure. Oh, the door is closed. Well, it must be just somebody at the door. It's my doorbell. So so what happens is that the the main thing is that we've got what we do is we do go and we try to get the people to help us financially. So for example, sometimes what we do is we do have a family that can pay for more than one boy. It works out that way where we had guys pay 2-3 guys. Other families can't pay anything. So at the end of the day, Hashem works it out. Our job is to just to do our work. And it's not like we get paid very much to do this work. I get paid about $1,000 a month. I think not even $1,000 a month for my job. So, but I've been doing it a long time, and I don't want to give it up because this is not for Am Yisrael. This is an important thing. These are boys that are going to defend us out there, and that Hashem gave me the zchut, to have this position. To be able to be on the front line like this. I can't go out and, put a gun and go out to the front line. I'm too good looking, right? They wouldn't want to risk the national treasure like that, right? So So I understand that, and I appreciate and I respect it. So that's why I don't go. But but the point is that I'm hopefully I'm doing my part, for Am Yisrael. And that's why I also have the Shalom Bite thing I'm working with.
Has this place been around for a week, a month, a year? Is this just you? Is this 5 people? Is this 10 people?
Oh no, this is an Israeli mechina that's been established since I think 1992. I think close to 30 years, maybe coming to 30 years. And
Can you just say that again with a little less confusion?
Oh, all right. So our place has been around since 1992, I believe. It's at least coming to 30 years. And we have about 100, 140 boys in there, staff of about, 10, 20, I believe. I'm not sure exactly how many, but we have a good sized staff. Our program alone has 5. So we have in the Israeli side, maybe another 10. So about 15 people in with the staff.
That's the only part of the interview that's not usable. So if we ever do it again, if you ever need it, or you put it in voiceover, you put it words on the screen, you need to know the tachlis a little better. But as you could tell, this is what I do for a living. I do videos, I interview people, I get the whole story in different parts. I get the end at the end, the beginning at the end, whatever. But you have really great material to tell your story. If and when you ever need it, it's right there on your computer. It just needs to be edited.
No problem. I think that
it's missing some good bites from the boys, and it would be cool to shoot a little bit more of the actual training with a better crew.
We have it. We because of What's Up, we're constantly filming these little bites of these guys doing, like they were just out in the rain.
You should get, I don't know, I hope you have better people than you had filmed the other one, because the backgrounds were bright and their faces were all in the dark. It looked like the witness protection program. Maybe you don't want to see their faces. Maybe that's why it was done that way. I don't know. But if those interviews were shot a little nicer, it would help a little bit. The quality is not everything, but it kind of would help,
Yeah, no, it's important what you're saying, but going to what.
So you could pause that now, because you don't need the rest of our conversation.